Hello, welcome to the Steam Release Podcast. We are here to talk about games that came out this week, so settle down, grab a cup of tea, and let us go through all the fantastic releases that came out this past week. Joining me today, not as always, but I'm glad to have her back, is Happy Kitty, and joining us as always, but this time in chat, Roadie Pie is co-hosting in the Peanut Gallery, so welcome aboard. I was tempted to go like, ahoy, you mateys, welcome to the show, because apparently it's Talk Like a Pirate Day. So, that's always a holiday that doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't get it either. It's fun when school's in session and you can do it to the kids. Like with my job, but other than that,
There's certain holidays that are just like, these are school, like in-class holidays, like Earth Day,
Earth Day should not be school only.
Yeah. But I feel like outside of school, the Arbor Day is kind of a bigger deal. Yeah, that's a bit of a bigger deal. But yeah. So there's all these sort of little wacky holidays that mostly seem to be like when you're a kid, and then once you grow up, it's like, oh yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing we did. Anyhow.
I think my favorite day in school was Pajama Day. Now Pajama Day is every day for me.
Pajama Day. You work from home. Yes. You don't know if I'm even wearing pants right now, and that's just how it is. So that is life. All right. So first off, let's just ask, what have y'all been playing this week? So if folks in the chat, let us know. But also, Happy Kitty, what have you been up to?
I've been grinding out through more Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty time consuming.
Oh yeah, definitely. They got that new event crossover with the 15, and I finally got the mount. It's my first multi-person mount, and I had to say, my character looks pretty cool behind the wheel.
They've got to do that. They've got to do that thing where they've got to add an emote for when you're in the car and everyone's like bobbing their head by like what's that song? Mr. Roboto? Was it that song's music video? Mr. Roboto.
Oh, there's a few. There are a few that have done that one.
I feel like the head bob emote is something you need when you have the car mount. It's just
that'd be pretty awesome.
Get on that, Yoshi P. So yeah, you're still in Heavensward, right?
No. Oh. I finished story.
Oh,
I finished story a week and a half ago.
You completely finished it.
Yeah.
And of course, you mentioned I cried a bunch.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely definitely teared up a little bit, and I am so looking forward to Heavensward because there are a few NPCs that I would love to smack around.
Yeah. It was always these moments where it's like Endwalker, Endwalker. Because there's always these moments like, oh, this looks like a happy reprieve, and then like, stab it in your heart with emotions. It's just like any moment of happiness, and then like,
Yeah.
The author, Natsuko, she's just a sadist, absolute sadist. But anyhow, as for me, I've done a bit of gaming this week. So I played. First, I'm going to do the one that I played the least of, and that is Darksburg. So this is a online co-op roguelike. So it's one of those games that's always online, even though personally I don't think it really needs to be, because it like connects to the server, and then you can start an offline game. But I mean, most people have internet access usually when they're on a computer, but still, it's a thing that's like, if I was on a bus or something, or I mean, not a bus, but like on a train or something, this would definitely be a game I would be playing. So, it's a roguelike. It's meant to be co-op. It seems ideal for 2 players. So even when you play solo, it gives you an AI companion. But the fundamentals are there, but I hate the controls. There's just something about the controls that feel awkward to me. And I play a lot of top-down games like Torchlight, Heroes of Hammerwatch, Diablo, but the controls in this game just feel so wrong. And you have the click to move, you got the buttons, but something feels off, and I think it's the whole like so you have one mouse to click to move, one mouse button, and the other mouse button is click to attack, but it often like you're constantly like adjusting your position as you're attacking, and it's like, but the creature's not getting out of range, so why are you doing this? So it is just, and it's frustrating to no end to me. And so I try to melee character, I try to range character, just don't like the feel. It's not a bad game, but it's, you know, I can kind of understand why it's mixed. It's just it's got bad game feel, and I can't put my finger on it. Yeah. So but you know, besides Darksburg, I have been playing Battle Chasers, which apparently now has a subtitle Night War. I think it's because it got like some post-release updates, because I don't remember it having a subtitle before.
Sounds about right.
But let me see, gameplay trailer. There we go. So this game it's a JRPG essentially, where it's turn-based combat. You have an overworld where you can run around, and there's like, and because it's an overworld, you can do kind of puzzle stuff like you do in some top-down ARPGs. The story so far is really good. Even though I like half of the cast, and then the other half of the cast, I'm like, I can't warm up to you. So, like the robot guy, he's cool. He's the most human character, which is oddly enough, the robot has the most human. He's kind of like an overprotective parent, but he's just a fantastic character, and he's got all this witty, like he's very witty, but it's in a way that's almost unintended, where he's being funny, but maybe he's not really making a joke, but the writers are definitely making a pun. So yeah, I quite like him. The storyline has been good enough to keep me going. There's a ton of lore in this world, and you get those through lore books and stuff. But you read the lore books, and they all seem written with the same voice. And that's something like, okay, this book was supposedly written by like these tribal like lichens, and it's written the exact same way as how the humans write. It's like you at least use like some like, I don't know, weird spellings or some different vocabulary.
Just to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I can tell you only had one writer, sort of thing. Even though like these are supposed to be all these different voices talking. But the voice acting is fantastic in both English and Russian. I've been mostly playing it Russian because I prefer the Russian voice. But and this, I don't know. I'm really curious where the story is going. It's been fairly balanced so far. It is gradually getting more and more difficult. So there's been a smooth difficulty curve. Yeah, I highly recommend it. It seems like a great game, and I didn't expect it because this game has been sitting in my library for ages. So now I'm kind of doing the thing. I've changed my system of playing games for a while, but now I'm kind of doing the things like, okay, going alphabetically, I'm just going to look at what's the best looking games, and I'll just play those, and then I'll see what's left after that. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not trying to force myself to play a game that I'm like, ooh, I'm really not excited for this. So, and it's been great. So Battle Chasers Night War. Very much recommend if you like JRPGs.
Sounds good.
Well, yeah, that's what I played. So, I guess without further ado, we have a release list to get through, a long release list, because everyone wanted to get their games out. Not as bad as last week, where, like, apparently the August 31st, everyone's like, oh, quick, we gotta get a game out, because we said we'd have a summer release, and we don't have a summer release, at least that's my assumption. So, oh yes, welcome aboard, Raven Quick. My childhood lisp came back right there. All right.
It's okay.
Monday, September 13th, we are starting with TechBeat Heart.
Scorching TechBeat Heart action. A frantic combo-based score action attack. shooter with roguelite elements. Make combos to earn more time. Master all weapons and defeat a raving mad machine. 100% arcade action, online ranking, lots of achievements, a dual Gunstrike spin-off.
The soundtrack is hopping.
Yes,
This is
definitely one of those where if you can pick up the soundtrack is definitely warranted because this game is popping.
They have two soundtracks. So they have RV, like quick intense score, 2 OSTs to choose from. Wait, so OST, so is that like 2 different group of songs? Wait, I don't know what this means. Does it mean they literally have 2 songs? Or are there like 2 albums worth of songs?
That's hard to tell.
So they say Watch Out for Snakes, which is 8-bit synthwave, and then RV Nove, which is UK hardcore. So I feel like maybe they do have like 2 composers.
Two different what's the word I'm looking for? Soundtracks. There we are. 2 different soundtracks.
Yeah. Because I know also I've heard people say like, oh yeah, we've got 12 soundtracks, and they're referring to 12 songs, and I'm like,
yeah. There's a difference.
Yeah. Yep. But this if all the music is that good, I could see how this would just be fun just to bop around as you play. It's got nice pixel art, and it's and you can get it for the low price of $269 right now, for the next 21 hours, or at the full price of $299 USD.
It is very colorful, and seems like it could be a lot of fun if that is something you're into. I mean, I wish they had just the soundtrack, because I would love to get just the soundtrack. Because I'm not big on games like these. It seems kind of bullet helly, which I'm not good at. So if I could, if the devs are listening, if I could get just the soundtrack, I'd probably pay for just the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what I find interesting is so they have links to games from our indie friends. I was looking, it's like, oh, are these other games are there? No, these are from other studios. So interesting. I didn't know that you had that ability on your Steam store to like link to other people's projects. Huh.
That is kind of neat.
That's so that way like different indie groups can form. Well, indies can form groups, and it's kind of like collective. Like, hey, check out our associated developers. Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really nice. Kudos. But yeah, that is TechBeat Heart. I feel like it should be Tech Heartbeat.
I know. I wanted to say it like that too.
All right, from bite size to a bit bigger, we have Atom RPG Trudograd.
So, Atom RPG Trudograd is a turn-based post-apocalyptic role-playing game which continues the story of Atom RPG as a standalone sequel expansion, and follows the tradition set by classic CRPGs, which as the early Fallout and Wasteland titles.
Well, I have to say, aesthetically, top-down, it looks great, and I am getting strong Fallout vibes.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like, as far as turn-based goes, it's based off of tile movement. Mm-hmm. So it's, rather than a specific distance, it's tile-related movement. Mm-hmm. Which could give you some advantages and disadvantages, but the gear and stuff is very, very Fallout heavy. It's a grunge type game.
Yeah, I did not notice this game on my first trek through the release list. RoadiePie had to point it out, but this looks. I don't know how I missed it because I looked at every single game. But I don't know, maybe my eyes glazed over for 5 minutes or something. Because this looks fantastic. This looks fantastic.
There is a mature content description for graphic violence. as well as topics of drug, tobacco, and alcohol, and mature language and sexual themes. Yeah, just something to be aware of.
Yep.
It's a mature game. It talks about the apocalypse, so.
There are 30 plus combat-only locations, where you'll fight tens of foe varieties, from mercenaries to merciless mutants. Tens is a weird word to use here. I would say dozens. Just odd thing. They're saying it's about 40 hours of gameplay and 45 plus populated locations. So I guess there's like combat only, and then there's populated. Interesting. And then there's 300 plus characters, each with unique portrait and branching dialogue. 200 plus quests. Yeah, this is a really big in scope game.
It seems like it has multiple playthrough story elements as well, considering branching dialogue and the like. Which is interesting, because that was a big thing for when Fallout first came. There were different styles to play, and you could get different endings.
But yeah, it's this looks so good. I'm gonna have to. I'm doing it now. I'm adding it to my wish list. I like these. I like top-down RPGs, and it all depends on how well portrayed the story is. But I've got high hope, because this came out of early access. It had 90% positive of 1,083 total reviews. And of the recent reviews, it's 89% positive. So a very minuscule dip after it came out for early access.
But still very positive.
Yep, still very positive. So I'm quite eager to check it out. And that said, 40 hours. Like, here's my problem. All the games I really like are extremely long. So it's just a problem. Like, it's almost at the point...
you can just make a let's play out of it.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, it looks great. Atom RPG Trudograd. Next up, we have from Tuesday, September 14th. Oh, and this is we forgot to mention the price. Atom RPG is only $10.99 USD. That's the full price.
So you're getting your money's worth out of it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's 25 cents an hour. That's amazing. All right. Probably, again, I suspect it's developed by an Eastern European team, so that's likely why the cost is lower. They also made Atom RPG post-apocalyptic indie game in 2018. And
they highly suggest playing the prequel to this, probably because of story elements.
Yeah, there may very likely be. So, yep. So they've this is basically their franchise right now. That's awesome. Next up, Hanako, Honor and Blade.
Hanako, Honor and Blade is a multiplayer melee experience set in feudal Japan with up to 24 players. Become one of 4 distinct warrior classes. Dominate the battlefield through multiple game modes and maps. Fully released September 15th, 2021. 14 years in the making. Looking deeper into this game, I'm not a fan. I'm not happy with the way they're doing this. Simply because you have the base game, and then you have all sorts of single item purchases for it.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of single item purchases in Steam, yeah.
And then there's a Founders Pack, which gives you everything that's been released that you can pick up for individual purchase, as well as everything that will be coming out in the future, which includes characters. To me, this seems very pay to win. And although the individual prices for everything is very cheap, it's all under $1. In fact, some of them are like a quarter. As somebody who plays a game dominated by DLC content, Payday 2, it gets expensive very quickly. This is just one of those games where 14 years in the making seems like it'd be a really good product, and it's probably a lot of fun. There are a lot of positive reviews. I personally, I can't get behind the way that they are putting out the content.
Yeah, they have, I suspect it's pretty similar to, now that I'm thinking about it, oh, what's that Ubisoft game? Rainbow Six Siege, that's what I'm thinking of. I think they're probably going for monetization similar to that. But I also don't, like, this is a 24-man battles. I kind of wonder how active the community is to actually get that many people playing at once. It's not a very expensive game, but as a live service game, I feel like this might be kind of difficult to keep going.
Yeah, especially if you're going to be setting up a lot of this stuff to pick up pay after.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're spending a little extra, like an extra $20, pick up everything now and in the future.
Yeah.
But for those who don't have the ability to do that, it's kind of like cutting off your legs.
Yeah.
Not to mention that they say that exclusive items are at the sole discretion of the developers. So, you know, you could very well get something that is purchase only as a reward, but that's just a maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, it's just one of those things that the way they're doing it rubs me the wrong way.
Yep. But that is, Hanako, does it actually have, I think this is only an online PvP, so there's not a campaign or anything involved in it either, so...
And it doesn't seem like there's a single story or anything that you can do by yourself. It's all co-op and PvP.
Yeah, it's just all PvP, yep. All right.
Rhodey brings up a good point. 14 years in development might mean it's overcooked and over-budgeted.
Yeah, quite possibly.
I can agree with that.
Plus Mpact Games, this is their first game on Steam. 14 years, that means they've been working on it since 2006?
2007.
2007? That's a long time.
Yeah.
All right. You can pick it up for 40% off right now for $8.99 USD. Its normal price is $14.99 USD. I think that for some, especially for a game on Steam, if it's going to require like 24 players for a full match, you should probably also include some smaller game modes. Because I think with, for example, For Honor, you can have like 2v2 or 4v4 games, and the combat's not that different. You just need some downsized arenas for it. So it's ambitious, but especially for an indie studio, it's a difficult thing to have done. And if it has and also of course having a campaign, at least for people who, you know, just don't want to get involved in the PvP. If you have a campaign, even if it's not a super long one, at least it's some other reason for people to pick up the game. So
I also think that this would probably be a good game, considering how big the matches and stuff are, to have a bundled type release, you know, buy it for you and number of friends. This way, you know, if you buy it and you buy it for a few friends, you're guaranteed to at least have a few people play with you. Yeah.
Even if it's just like, and again, if it could have the campaign, you could have like the full version, and then you also get like PvP passes for you know, a bunch of friends to get in. But yeah. Next up, we have from Wednesday, September 15th, Ruins of Albion.
Explore the procedurally generated world and test your skills in a fast-paced combat combining ranged and melee attack. Defeat a variety of different enemies and bosses, fight in an arena, collect upgrades, and unlock different arrow and trap abilities in this small, roguelike action-adventure.
So this is kind of like... so this is an ARPG, but it's not a twin stick shooter because I see your mouse cursor, so it's more of a just a ARPG slash shooter because I think you only have like a bow. I don't see any.
Well, you can also do melee with it as well.
Oh, okay. So there are melee weapons.
Yeah. My biggest thing about this is going off of what we just discussed, a 14-year game in the making to a project that was done as a university project in 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's free!
Yeah, just imagine what the folks here would have been able to do with 3 years of development.
Oh god, yeah. This game looks a little polygony, but it looks smooth, it looks clean. My husband was over my shoulder looking at this one and he's going, that only took 3 months and it's free and it looks that good, I'm picking it up.
Yeah, free. I actually should also pick this one up because I do like ARPGs. This looks really just smooth. The UI is they clearly had a graphic designer on the team because the UI looks great. Yeah, just looks fantastic.
Yeah, and there's more than 20 unique enemies, 6 different bosses, 3 different biomes. You can upgrade and unlock all sorts of elemental arrows and traps. 7 different achievements. For all of this done in 3 months, there is a lot to this game.
I really hope they got an A.
Yeah, seriously.
Really hope they got an A.
They've even got a boss rush mode. So, for a free game, this brings a lot to the table, and I am impressed.
Yep. The team is the Caecus, which they're actually working on a game called Ascendum. So this is a game that they're hoping to release in 2021. And is this... So it's a small team of 2 developers and 1 composer. This is our first official release. So I assume this is a post-school project that they're doing. Which is quite impressive if they're going to try to get this out in 2021. But, I mean, they made another game in 3 months, so I guess we'll see what they have... if they can make it before the next 4 months, I guess. Yeah.
If this game is as good as it looks, I look forward to what they can do in the future.
Yeah. I think I don't like the aesthetic here as much, I would say. But I think, I don't know, it does have the opportunity to grow on me. I love the backgrounds. It's just the two, I don't know, some of the effects look like they stand out a bit too much, but I don't know. I mean nitpicky. It does look very good, and not something I'd expect like, oh, you're fresh out of college. So, very cool looking. But yeah, that Ruins of Albion. Pick it up for free, and check out their game Ascendum when it becomes available. I hope we're able to talk about it on the show soon enough. Right, next up we have Metallic Child.
Grab, hurl, and eliminate. Roguelite core action. A large-scale rebellion erupts within the spacecraft Lifestream. With the help of you, Rona, an android known as Metal Child, stands up against a fleet of massive robots to stop the plot devised by her own creator, Dr. Irene.
There's some like live stream immediately Final Fantasy 14, I thought, and then Rona. So yeah, this is it's by Studio HG, and it looks, so it's 3D, it's a bit neon-y, but the lighting isn't terribly done. My word, so I do like roguelikes. I'm just not sure if I want to hop into this one, because it is $22.49, or full price $25, so...
There is a demo you can try, though.
There is, yes, there is a demo. So to their credit, they are priced kind of high, but they do have a demo.
Yeah. It's pretty to look at. To me, it's some aspects do seem overly bright. So maybe they could have turned the contrast up or down a bit. It's a hack and slash. It's definitely one of those where, you get up in there and do what you're going to do. The story seems really, really interesting. Because they put you, the player, interacting with the android. So you take up a position on Earth to help the android on the space station take out these enemies and stop the spaceship from crashing into Earth. So you are actually involved with the game, which is kind of neat. I kind of like those elements. There are a lot of positive. There are also a few negatives, mostly to do with gameplay. But it's stuff that could possibly be polished in some updates. And I believe they just put out an update. Yeah, they just put out an update yesterday, which improves bug fixes and some of the balancing.
Yep.
So they are actively trying to keep the game as best as they can. Price still seems a little bit high, but again, play the demo. If you think it's worth it, pick it up, and it is on sale for 10% off.
Yep. The developer also created Smashing the Battle, which appears to be more of a let me see, this is a action brawler. Yeah, so this is an action brawler. So you can clearly see where they got their art style from, and then they also made a VR game called Overturn. So the studio has the look they're going for. But yeah, Studio HG, Metallic Child. All right, next up, this is a game that has been sort of anticipated for quite a while. I've seen it around. I've seen images and GIFs of their pixel art animation for a while. Flynn, Son of Crimson.
Flynn and his mythical companion, Deck, save Rosantica from the evil before the evil from the Scourge claims his home. In Flynn, Son of Crimson, you'll go on a journey to discover and conflict as you learn to master the power of Crimson energy. I apologize, my dyslexia is just kicking in so hard today.
I think some of it's like kind of oddly worded though, so I wonder if the developer's not an English native speaker, because it feels almost auto-translated in some of it. But it looks fantastic. The pixel art is so pretty, and it's just another action. You've got a dog mount. And it looks like parts of the game, because you have these two characters, parts of the game is also you have to open gates for your wolf friend because he's too big to fit into some spots that you can. So that's always a neat element when you've got like multiple characters. So,
but the most important question with this having a dog in it is, can you pet the dog?
Well, can you pet the dog, and is the dog gonna die?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's no one wants an old Yeller story.
Oh god, no.
But I feel like as soon as those are the two questions that come in my head. Oh, can you pet it? And does the dog die?
So they do pan it as a classic 2D action platformer. But as you were saying, it looks very pretty as far as pixel goes. There's a skill tree, so you can customize how you want to fight. And, there's all sorts of different ways that you can fight. You've got elemental magic. Looks like you can do some melee. And, of course, you can ride on the dog as a mount to fight as well. So this looks like a really fun game. It is part of a Humble game. So, yeah.
Yes, it's published by Humble Bundle, Humble Games. It looks fantastic. Humble Games tends to publish only like pretty promising indie devs. And this one just looks great. And unfortunately, I kind of expected them to have a lot more reviews, though. They're only up to 62 right now. Now, part of that can be if this is a longer game. It could just be, people could just still be playing through it. But I don't know. I do see some reviews. I see like 12 hours.
17 hours.
Yeah. It looks
10
like
hours.
you can finish it in 12 hours. Well, in a French review, you can finish it with 100% in 12 hours. So, yeah. But which is a respectable size for a sort of action platformer. And yeah, it's 10% off, $17.99, with a total price of $19.99 normally, and the sale ends on September 22nd. Looks beautiful. All right, so next up we have Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town.
Welcome to Olive Town, a peaceful community established by your trailblazing grandfather and his friends. Now that you've taken over his farm, it's your job to carry on his legacy. Plant crops, raise animals, build relationships, and get to know the residents of your new home.
Yeah. And Rhodey is saying that the reason Flynn might have not gotten picked up as much is just there was a lot of similar style games out this week. That could quite likely be. So Story of Seasons. Remember those days back in like the early 2010s when everyone was desperate for a new Harvest Moon because there was no like proper farming games?
No.
That's
not a fan of Harvest Moon, so no.
Oh, true. But I just remember a lot of my friends were always like, "Oh man, I wish there was another Harvest Moon or something." But now, like this is a very served genre at this point.
Yeah,
possibly overserved, but maybe not because this game I'd never heard of before, and it has 120 reviews. So,
Story of Seasons is a franchise.
It's a franchise.
Yeah. That being said, there's a lot of games like it already out on the market. Case in point, Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon. What's the one on Switch? Drawing a blank. It's the one with the islands and stuff. The little...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah!
What's
the
that
big
name?
one!
Oh.
The big one!
Like Summer and Mara?
No, it's not Rune Factory. It's another planter build your city or build your... with Tom!
Yeah.
Tom the raccoon!
Oh, Tom the raccoon.
That you owe money to!
Oh,
that is
yes.
Harvest Moon.
No, that's not Harvest Moon. That's Animal Crossing.
That's Animal Crossing.
Yeah, Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I was trying to think like, oh, that's right, Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That being said, it's got a pretty big following. Very positive reviews, a few negative reviews that caught my eye, like the fact that probably going to get aggravated because you get no credit for anything you do. Everything gets tossed to the mayor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if this is the type of game you're into, it seems fun, it seems inviting, it's got a following, so yeah.
A story where a politician is a leech? You don't say.
I know, right?
Far be it. Oh, gasp. But yeah, it's got a nice look. I think the thing that's less charming for me is that the environment is heavily based around grids. So there's all these sharp angles, and I feel like if you just had softer or if you could have flowing angles going on, it would be a bit more appealing. Kind of a bit more of that My Time in Portia, which I did play it for a little bit. I'll be honest, I'm not going to go back to My Time in Portia because I think these types of games just aren't for me. But I will say, I had, a dozen or so afternoons that I had quite a fun time with it. I'll just never know the conclusion. But yeah, this is Story of Seasons. You can pick it up for $39.99 at full price or $35.99, currently at 10% off. there's a lot of people who are happy to, and it does seem the studio Marvelous Incorporated makes a lot of games, well, and a lot of DLC.
Yeah.
Lots, oh my god, a lot of DLC.
And a lot of it is just cosmetic. I was looking into it.
Friends of Mineral Town. Okay, that was the previous one. Yep. Okay, yep, Story of Seasons. Alright, so yeah, it's quite pricey. Next up, we have Gas Station Simulator.
Buy an abandoned gas station and restore it to its full glory. Renovate, upgrade, and expand upon the offered services to keep up with your clients' demands. It's another simulator game. Mm-hmm. And you all know, most of these simulator games have a recorded history behind at least the storyline.
Yeah.
But this looks like a lot of fun. I have Mechanic Sim. I'm a mechanic. This is probably something that I could enjoy doing. Simply because old gas stations are so interesting.
Real story past, yeah.
So I'm kind of interested to see what kind of story they have for this, and they've got different bundles to go with it. Mm. So you could pick it up as a mechanic station. You get it with Car Simulator. The Dusty Bull Barn, you get it with Barn Finders. Lockpick Experience, you get it with Thief Simulator. So it is on sale. And you can get it in a bundle and get another game with it. That's part of the whole simulator experience, if that's your thing. It does. It looks very cool.
Yeah. It's got, like, I can see that their physics engine is just not, though. Because they've got, like, they pulled out the hose, and the hose was, like, flying everywhere. But that's
thing, part of the charm.
Yeah,
for these
with simulator games, it's like you're supposed to have kind of a dooky aesthetic and a weird like physics engine. I mean, that said, it's got moments where it looks quite nice. So, but yeah, it's cool. I am kind of like thinking like it's gonna be interesting in 20 or so years as like a lot of gas stations start closing down with more and more electric vehicles and such. It's like, we might be the last generation or two that knows what these things are. or like at least grew up with gas stations. That's an interesting thing to think about. But yeah, Gas Station Simulator by DRAGO Entertainment. It is 10% off right now, so you can buy it for $17.99 or it's $19.99 at full price. Next up, Scrapnaut.
Scrapnaut is a co-op and single-player top-down base-building survival game with steampunk elements. Explore an open world with different biomes, take care of oxygen, manage your farms, generate electricity, build your home, and much more. So, looking at this and it being top-down and all the things that you have to do, you know what this game reminds me of?
No.
Oxygen Not Included.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah.
I got a very Oxygen Not Included vibe off of it. Mm-hmm. Now, that's not to say that that's a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Oxygen Not Included is definitely interesting. And this game seems very much in the same detail. But because you get that top-down, you get a lot more room and a lot more expanse to work with. It's got an interesting art style. It's very clean, and it could be a lot of fun if this is your type of game. It's really not mine, but I can see where the fun elements could come into it.
It kind of has that sort of cheerful post-apocalyptic look going for it. I know it's not. I don't think it's tagged as post-apocalyptic, but I'm getting those vibes.
It's definitely survival.
Yeah, survival. So, yeah, it just seems to be quite charming. The The low poly art style isn't bad. It doesn't seem like it's an asset flip. But yeah, it looks kind of nice. It's just it's overwhelmingly brown. And I suppose like part of the encouragement of the game is as you build up your base, it becomes less brown, assuming that you can survive the onslaught of all these like wild robots.
Yeah.
But yeah, Scrapnaut. It is developed by SpiffyBit. It was in early access where it had 80% positive with 267 reviews, but released recently to 60% positive with 60 reviews. I am kind of curious what's going on with that. Let me see. Camera rotation. Okay, so here's a negative review. 2.2 hours on record. So camera rotation defaults to Q and E with no way to rebind. Oh, okay, so you can't rebind controls. That would drive me crazy. As I was saying, Darksburg, the main reason I don't like it is just the controls feel weird. It doesn't feel like other ARPG games. But yeah, cooking requires you to move each item to your hotbar, select it, and then press the button to add it to the pot. Constant item juggling is annoying with a mouse and worse with controller, but it could at least be slightly alleviated with multiple quick bar pages or better controller support.
Yeah, I just found another one with 8 hours on record. Game is wasted potential. You don't have to build to survive. There's no sleep, no building a house. There's no gender selection for character creation. Most of the craftable stuff is unnecessary. Exploring's not needed. Controls with the controller are just bad, and there's no remote. So it looks like in early access they were doing some really good stuff, and then upon release somebody might have dropped the ball.
Yeah, it's just like that's kind of a danger I think that can happen in early access. Is like people come in, so it's early access, so the players can be a bit over positive, and then I mean I'm sure people brought this up. But like they get like, oh, we're getting 80% positive. Why don't we just launch? Maybe that's what happened. It's like you gotta bring up the issues, and or worse, it could be a situation where it's like, oh, well, we were told that this needed to be fixed, but we just didn't get around to it. So
yeah, and sometimes like that, it's better to wait and get a polished game out than to rush it. Just because you're getting some positive reviews. If the game's not ready, finish the game, even if people like it unfinished. And
here's the thing with early access, you can kind of just stay in it as long as you haven't like specifically super duper pinky promise that the full release is gonna be around here. Because most likely you can just like roadmaps can be changed if you just need more time to work on it. And early access, like we don't talk about early access games when they come out in early access because they're just not finished. But I think early access is a great tool for people who don't have the money for a huge QA team. So it's that's what it's there for. So just if it's not done, keep going. That said, someone brought up that quote from was it Miyamoto about a delayed game, it can be eventually good, but a broken game once released is always bad. Well, that's a sentiment from a past time where games you released them on a cartridge and you could not like take it back.
Change it, yeah.
Nowadays, you can update it and change it. Like, we've seen multiple games recover after, kind of poor reception. But, early access, it's kind of your opportunity to avoid that poor reception initially. So...
And another thing to remember is when he made that comment, I think he was mostly talking about how first impressions make or break things.
Yeah, and they definitely can. Like, it's an uphill battle. Like, Cyberpunk is coming out with their new expansion not too long down the road, and they have a real uphill battle of getting people's approval after their horrendous launch. That said, it is CD Projekt Red. I do feel like they have the potential to do what they did with Witcher 3. Not granted, Witcher 3 launched good, but they have a lot of the same people. So if they can do that, If anyone can kind of have that kind of comeback kid moment, it's them. And of course, I'm sitting high, just happy that I didn't buy it in the first place. So if I do eventually jump in and experience it, I'm gonna get a really great product, hopefully. So,
fingers.
Yep, we shall see. All right. So next up, and this is and Scrapnaut was developed by SpiffyBit, not SpiffyBrit, SpiffyBit. And you can buy it for 30% off for $9.79, or at full price for $13.99. Next up, Tomb Rumble.
Tomb Rumble is a pixel art MMO platformer where adventurers compete to retrieve ancient treasure in lost temples, cursed ruins, and more. Push other players into deadly traps to be the first to escape, or to be the first to fall in the lava pit.
Oh boy.
So
this looks fantastic.
It really does. My biggest complaint though, like an earlier game, is it's all co-op and PvP. There doesn't seem to be a single player mode.
Yeah.
I'm one of those where if this is a game, you know, like this, I'd like to have a story to maybe understand the world development that they were going for. I mean, like, who are these adventurers? Why are they going after these relics and treasures? I mean, is it somebody looking for fame? Is it somebody looking to pay off a debt? Is it just somebody looking to, I don't know, expand their collection? You know, but other than that, it seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. And this could be one of those games that make or break friendships.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think it's a game that kind of encourages trolling to a degree. But at the same time, like, the levels seem small. It looks like you respawn shortly after you die. So it's kind of like, darn it. All right, try again. And it's just got that nice... Oh, no, you can activate traps. Oh, man.
Yeah. Just don't
it
get yourself caught in that activation.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks quite fun. They did a smart thing if they're going for an MMO in that it's free, especially for something that's kind of small like this. Mm-hmm. And they do have player-created content, so that means they kind of have an unlimited flow of content with players being able to make levels and such. So they do have some DLC, like the Cursed Sorcerer,
Cursed Vampire, and the Home.
Yeah, so they've got various features that you can add to the game for cost. Right now they're all like $5. But yeah, for a free-to-play MMO, that's kind of what you have to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, free-to-play, I would definitely be interested in hopping in and trolling. Just seems like a fun game, fun time.
Reviews are mostly positive at 76% with out of 51 users. And you know, this isn't their first game on Steam either. They've done other games like Transform Mice. I've played Transform Mice. That one's a handful. It's quite fun. You play as a mouse. You get to choose your class and stuff, and then it's a race to the cheese.
Mm-hmm. Transform Mice is absurdly popular too.
It is. It really is. And if they based Tomb Rumble off of Transform Mice, this is going to be another big one.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah, I don't think they've ever surpassed the success of Transform Mice. Yeah,
this could be their opportunity.
Yeah, it could be their opportunity. It's quite neat. They've got this sort of style that's a little bit offbeat in that it looks nice. It looks nice enough for its function, but it's like just kind of that little bit of indie jank that makes it kind of charming. So they're very they've got their look established. All right. So next up we have Between Time Escape Room.
You are going to steal a time machine. In this escape room, you have to travel through time, explore mysterious places, and solve puzzles to get priceless treasures. Will you be able to make it back alive? This seems like it is right up my alley.
I do like escape room
games.
They also, and of course, his developers made a few others, like Tested on Humans by Escape Room, and Palindrome Syndrome by another escape room game. So they seem quite experienced.
I don't understand how this developer got past me, because all of these games seem like they are, again, like right up my alley, something that I would just jump on in a heartbeat. And they seem like fairly short games for the most part, you know.
Yeah, 2 to 6 hours it seems, depending on like how
on your gameplay
quick
and
you
how
are figuring out.
Yeah. But honestly, this seems like a lot of fun. You know, there's puzzles, and you get to steal a time machine. What's more cool than that?
This seems like the sorts of games that you get a few friends together and you all buy it and just play for an afternoon. Granted, like each of you pay like $7 that can stack up, but they should really sell these in bundles if it's multiplayer. Is it multi? No, it's single player.
It's not.
It's
so
all
you
single
can play
player.
against.
Okay.
Well, you can play against your friends and see who can figure out the puzzles fastest.
I guess so. I with me, I just kind of associate escape rooms with playing with friends, but yeah, okay, single player. That's fine too. I just feel like I'd never beat a single player escape room, because like you just end up needing people that think differently, and then you're like, wait a second, it's a color puzzle. What? No, see, like according to color theory, you need the blue to be next to the yellow. What? And then that works.
What you could do is you could have a bunch of friends around, and even though it's single player, you could have discussions.
Yeah, that's something you could do, especially, and this would be a good stream game where you're like the chat's trying to help you figure it out. So,
or the chat's trying to get you killed.
Yeah.
Depending on your chat. But a lot of escape rooms are single player. And I can understand why, you know, if you're in with somebody who you know is a troll, they're going to try to mess you up as much as possible, which could have its own charms behind it. But no, this seems to me like a lot. This kind of reminds me of The Room in that aspect. So I could definitely see myself running through this and having a lot of fun with it, even though it's single player. And having somebody in my ear for those moments where I'm going, what? Is definitely one of those positives for me. But I'm going to have to check out more of these games by MC2 Games, because it just seems like right up my alley.
Yep. And I do like that they don't seem to, a lot of escape room games I've played have been like, they have really dark lighting, because like maybe some of the puzzles is getting the light to turn on so you can see, but I'm glad that this is all well lit, because those are frustrating. This is all nicely well lit. But yep. Okay, so now we have a highly anticipated game from Thursday, September 16th, Eastward.
Welcome to the charming world of Eastward. Population declining. Journey through a society on the brink of collapse. Discover delightful towns, strange creatures, and even stranger people. Wield a trusty frying pan and mystic powers on an adventure into the unknown.
Frying pan and
I gotta
mystic
say,
powers.
I've any game that's got a frying pan or a cast iron pan as your main weapon, you're gonna have a lot of fun with. In my opinion, anyway.
I'm always reminded about how pretty this game is. Whenever I see it, it's like, oh, it looks so nice.
Yeah, it's very pretty. The art style is well done. It's bright in certain aspects and dark in others. It really sets a mood for where you are and what you're doing and who you're participating with. Um, it's I gotta say, I didn't know about this one, and I'm impressed.
Oh, this is so pretty.
It is a really, really pretty game. It's positive, 88% out of over 3,000 reviews, and it comes from a reliable publisher. Chucklefish. I love Chucklefish. I'm a huge fan of Starbound. So I can understand why this was highly anticipated. Not just that, but the story, the way that you can do things, this just seems like a well-rounded game.
Yeah. Rhodey played it at a convention, she says, but did not like the combat feel, but loved the art. Yeah, that is something to consider as well. I wish there was a demo. Considering they were demoing it at shows, that means they have a working demo. So I wonder if they could add a demo, because it is $24.99, and I'm not gonna begrudge them for that because it's clearly a AAA game. But ooh, and they also sell the soundtrack for $8.55. And there's the spoiler tags in the reviews, so there's plot. But yeah, so there's a not recommended review where this is a tough one. The music and art in the game is unbelievable, but I'm not the biggest fan of the writing and pacing. I wonder if the writing might suffer a little bit because it is a Chinese developed game. I don't know if it's I don't know which China it was developed in, but it's when sometimes things just don't translate well, or like you've got narrative styles that are really popular in China, but they just come off as really strange in Western literature.
Yeah.
But it just looks so whimsical, and I think even with kind of wacky whimsy, I think I could probably adjust to whatever weird narration or pacing that's going on. So,
yeah, but I think a demo would definitely help sell this.
Absolutely. Yeah, Chucklefish, they've made some of my favorite games on Steam. Starmancer, I forgot about this one. I need to add that to my wish list. But yeah, so Eastward by Pixpil is finally out. So excited. And it's with 3,239 reviews, 88% positive, which means it's probably sold at least 90,000 copies per the 30-to-1 review ratio. Now that kind of skews as a game becomes more and more popular, but yeah, that's not bad. So very happy for them. At least sales on Steam, because I'm pretty sure it's also ending up on other platforms. I'd be shocked if it wasn't also on Nintendo. So, all right. Next up, I Am Fish.
I Am Fish is a charming physics-based adventure starring four intrepid fish friends forcibly separated from their home in a pet shop fish tank. Swim, fly, roll, and chomp your way to the open ocean in a bid for freedom and to reunite once again. Now, the concept of this sounds absolutely wonderful. Reminds me of Finding Nemo.
That's my immediate thought. Like, someone watched Finding Nemo and were like, oh, that should be a game.
That being said, I've already seen some playthroughs of this game. Not the best gameplay I've seen. You remember back when consoles were big and memory cards were a big thing?
Oh yeah,
and you're playing a game and you lost your memory card, so you had to start over with no saves when you died. That's this game.
Oh, really? So they don't...
Yeah.
Oh, so you have to start over each time you die?
Every time you die, you've got to start over from the beginning.
Ooh.
The puzzles are definitely a head scratcher. That's not necessarily a bad thing, you know? Sometimes you want to think outside the box. And some of the clues they give you on what you need to do are really obvious, you know, like for the piranha, because you've got a goldfish, a pufferfish, a flying fish, and a piranha. For the piranha, the things that your main action and to get things done is to bite them, and for that there are like little yellow glowing tapes that you have to do. While I was watching, some of the angles to get at it were really kind of not impossible, but really hard to manage, and you had to get it just right. So it seemed like some of the hitboxes on some of that stuff could have been handled better. But again, you know, that was kind of early access that I was watching, so that stuff might have changed. It's kind of got mixed reviews right now, and one of the biggest reviews was the fact that it had no game save data. So I know that one is still an issue.
Oh, okay.
It's bright, it's colorful. The again, you know, it seems like could be a really good game, but there are some aspects that really need polished. And adding a save feature is a huge difference between a good game and a bad game.
Well, or at the very least, having some like reasonable checkpoints so that if you get through a tough spot, you can at least start off from another starting point. It's got a so I find it interesting. There's a lot of people who are like, oh, the controls are great. Well, no, the control, like, you have two people. The people who have positive reviews because the controls are difficult, and it's kind of like a la Bennett Foddy. And there's people like, the controls are so frustrating, I hate this. So it seems to have, it's one of those frustration games that some people are like, oh, this is great. And other people are like, no. But yeah, it's just really, it's so pretty and charming, but hopefully Bossa Studios can like adjust any like issues that there may be. But yeah, fin it to win it. But yeah, they have their out now update. I don't see any I don't see them posting about patches or anything.
No. So. Game is on sale upon release until the end of September. You can pick it up for 20% off. $15.99, regular price $19.99. With as much as for me, saves are a big feature, and I don't know if I want to spend $20 on a game that I can't save. You know, if I'm having a problem with a puzzle, you know, I'd like to save the game, step back, clear my head, and go back to where I started, or at least pretty close to where I was, than having to backtrack to the beginning. Yeah. The game just seems so charming, and it's so bright and colorful, and so much could be done with this game, and I feel it could have been better.
Yeah, indeed. So, all right, you can pick up I Am Fish for $15.99 USD at 20% off, which it'll be 20% off until September 30th. After that, it'll be $19.99. Next up, we have Gamedec.
Gamedec is a single-player cyberpunk isometric RPG. You are a game detective who solves crimes inside virtual worlds. Use your wit to gather info from your witnesses and suspects, getting to the bottom of deceptive schemes. The game continuously adapts to your decisions and never judges.
So, I'm not particularly, so it's kind of interesting with all these cyber... okay, I've got to gather my thoughts. All right. So I'm not a particular fan of cyberpunk games, but it does seem to be, like, the cyberpunk genre, I should say. But it is kind of neat to see how, like, the Cyberpunk 2077, like, as soon as that was announced many years ago, everyone's like, okay, we've got to make some cyberpunk games in the meantime because people want this. And maybe that wasn't the motivation behind Gamedec, but it does seem to have brought in a whole lot of games that have been very successful and well received. So even though, like, Cyberpunk didn't do great on launch, it did seem to establish a zeitgeist of a lot of great games that did release quite well. And this one's, like, mostly positive 82%, and it's been pretty long anticipated.
I can't say a whole lot about this one. It seems interesting. I like the style that's going for it, and the fact that the game adapts to your decisions and the way that you're playing the game, makes it seem like you could have multiple playthroughs with different thought styles. It just seems like another cyberpunk game, or not a cyberpunk-esque game, and there are a lot of those out, and it gets kind of stale. I mean, this, like I said, this one seems interesting. I don't know if it's something that's going on my wish list right now. Maybe in the future, but I don't know.
Okay, interesting. So it is mostly positively reviewed, but there are some folks who are going like, there's some like incomplete translation. There's still some Polish text in the game where there should be English, and some folks are saying that, you know, the further you get in the game, the more narrow the choices become. To a point where, like, and there's even some situations where, like, you made decisions in the past where you got certain dialogue, and then you end up with a bunch of contradictory stuff happening, and it's like, wait, now the world doesn't make sense. So there might be some story bits that just like start to get a little bit confusing. But it has been generally positively received. That said, I don't know how long it is, because some of these reviews where they're talking about like, oh yeah, we got later in the game, it's like 6 hours. Oh. And maybe that's just kind of the hazard of being a game with a branching storyline, because the more branches you write, it kind of exponentially gets like a bigger and bigger task to create a narrative.
Yeah.
It's 10% off right now for $26.99 USD. The full price is $29.99. And if it's only like 6 hours long, that said, if there is, even with the narrowing later on, as long as there's like 2 or 3 like really separate storylines, that brings it up to like 15 hours if you do 3 playthroughs kind of thing. Hopefully it's able to do that, but I'm just not sure looking at the reviews.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gamedec. The studio also developed Detached, Telefrag, and of course their latest is Gamedec. And you gotta say they've got an artistic style that is really just nice. It's I guess like, you know, there's the Japanese aesthetic, and this is like the Polish aesthetic. They've kind of captured that really well. It's the sort of realistic, a little hint of kind of Soviet realism, plus a bit of like kind of just colorful Western optimism. It's just a very good mix. I like it. I like Polish art. It's great. But yeah, by Anshar Studios, Gamedec. Next up, we have PalmRide.
PalmRide, the retro-futuristic, fast-paced driving game inspired by classic games and the modern outrun aesthetics. Drive through busy streets of a city, climb the tallest mountains, or just chill out on your way to the beach. Avoid obstacles and be the first on the leaderboard. Be the rad guy.
Alright, so wait, does that mean this? No, it's just single player. Okay, it seems that you race the ghosts of other players.
I think it's more score based.
Oh.
As far as that goes. I was looking in the descriptions trying to figure out, okay, well, what classic games are they inspired by? And I really couldn't place anything. That being said, it's very colorful. Definitely reminiscent of that kind of 80s glow. It seems like it'd be a chill game. I did read a couple of complaints where some of the obstacles are really blurry and you don't have time to get out of the way before they're right on top of you and you realize it's an obstacle. But other than that, it seems to be a pretty well-made game. That being, and again, you know, with the whole '80s neon stuff, I can understand where that could be an issue with the blurring and stuff. I'm not quite sure if the neon pixel was the way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems very, very...
It is a look, that's for sure.
It is definitely a look. They said it themselves. It's a driving simulator. It doesn't excite me.
Oh, it's so far it's 95% positive with 20 reviews. And it is only, and they do have a free demo, and it is 35% off right now for $259. The full cost is $399. So they're keeping it very low budget right now. The developer Pizza Fest, this is their first game on Steam, and so far they seem to be doing pretty okay. But yeah, love it. Let me see. There is one negative review. This game is so close to being a fantastic little retro racing. But in their opinion, it still needs a little bit of work, and they go into very long detail about that. But so just be sure to read the reviews, but it seems to be generally pretty good for those looking for this. All right, the next up is The Amazing American Circus.
Roll up and play a deck building game like no other. Gather weird and wonderful performers, amaze audiences, explore Gilded Age America, and transform your rundown circus into an entertainment empire. Play your cards right, and you could claim the crown of the biggest showman from P.T. Barnum.
The Amazing American Circus. So you basically travel all over the place, and you got the whole deck building system. Again, this is kind of hard to tell whether it's going to be really great from the video, because it all depends on, you know, complex balance and, you know, just how engaging the advancement in gameplay feels. But
yeah,
it is mostly positive right now with 79% reviews. The art style, I'm not really super big on. I don't know, it just doesn't look as kind of crisp and professional as some other board games. Maybe it's not so much the art style, but just the blending between them or something. I don't know. I don't know the technical terms. I'm not a graphic design, even though I talk like I'm a graphic design guy. I am in fact not.
The art style reminds me a lot of oh, what is it called? Don't Starve, but not as dark.
Yeah. Less dark, Don't Starve. Yeah.
That being said, it's supposed to be a world building card simulator, and I'm a little confused as to how you're supposed to play or what the goal is.
Yeah, hopefully they got a good
that
tutorial.
mindset. Yeah, a good tutorial could probably make or break this game.
Yeah, so it has, there are 200 plus cards, there's 90 different cities, there's all the different circus wagons and modifications to your caravan. But yeah, so there's 4 powerful opponents to defeat, 1 per region, the legendary P.T. Barnum, Buffalo Bill, Queen Victoria, and more. So I guess there's one more that we don't know. Houdini, maybe. But, yeah, it just looks The Amazing American Circus. Yeah, it looks quite like it could be quite good, but I'm just it's hard to tell. And I don't know, there's something about the animation, like the animations, they're very simplistic. I just don't know if it's not giving, it doesn't have that spark to me. That, because I do like these card games. So I'm not sure. The map is very nicely done, but yeah, the Rhodey thinks the map is nicely done, and the art is mixed bag. And I feel like that's me too, a little bit mixed. Yeah. All right, but that is The Amazing American Circus. You can pick it up for $17.99 right now at 10% off, for $19.99 at full price. It likely has quite a bit of replay value, at least until you beat the 4 bosses, and then maybe it's like I didn't see anything about like a new game plus or anything. But yeah, and they've got a 60-minute soundtrack. All right, next up we have the widely anticipated Skatebird.
Grind on bendy straws, kickflip over staplers, and carve killer lines through cardboard and sticky tape parts. Above all, skatebirds try their best. This is so cute. I remember somebody showing me this, and I don't remember for the life of me who it was, and going, that is odd. You know, it's kind of got a Tony Hawk vibe to it, but you're playing as, like, sparrows and stuff. And it's so cute and so charming. And I was a huge Pro Skater fan way back when it first came out, and I kind of fell off the genre. This could very well get me back into it. It's just, and some of the environments are just so intriguing, and you're playing as a little bird, as a little tiny bird, on kind of like those little skateboards that you kind of use for your fingers. So the concept is unique, all in and of itself, and this could be a really good game.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of customization, and let me see. Yeah, you're a lonely little bird, and your big friend has hung up their board for good. Their job sucks, and lately they're barely ever home to play with you. You're gonna fix all that with the power of being a chill little skateboarding bird. You may be tiny, but the more you skate, the more friends you'll make. Birds will come to check out your park, help you find more parks, and together you'll somehow fix Big Friend's life. And above all else, skatebirds try their best. Aww, that's really cute. But yeah, it looks so sweet. And the thing is, I'm looking, they don't have DLC for all these like customization and stuff, so I think this is stuff you earn in game. You can be different species of birds, so you can change your like feathers and your beaks. It
looks like you can customize color schemes as well.
Yep.
So
get funny hats, because of course, you know, you gotta have funny hats.
Funny hats are cute.
This looks fantastic. My word, so very full featured. But yeah, if you want to get a hold of your Tweety Skate Simulator, it is 10% off right now at $17.99 or $19.99 USD. This game has already been out on PS4 and PS5, I do believe, but it's. It is so darling.
This is another one that could probably benefit from a demo, considering it's a $20 game, and some people may be a little scared of that price. I remember when I first played Tony Hawk, some of the controls were a little hard to handle, and it took a lot of practice. Which I'm afraid if that's what they based it off of, it might drive some people away unless it's got a really good tutorial to help with it. So I think Brody's got a good comment there with it being a little too pricey. So I'll probably wait until this goes on a better sale if I'm going to pick it.
The negative reviews I'm seeing are talking about the controls. But I am also seeing, so their top update right here is, first, yes, we're super aware of the camera issues, which I saw in some negative reviews. It's at worst when you're at the very start, learning controls and bailing a lot. When we missed that because we ran out of dedicated playtesters who hadn't tried the game before. We're an extremely small studio. Sorry, we're on it. It's going to take a bit longer. So in the meantime, 1.0.1 launched last night to address some immediate pain points, chief among them being the tutorial for going fast. Getting higher was confusing to folks. And then 1.0.2 will hit next week around the 21st, and that'll include accessibility toggle to disable the blur, along with the next sweep of high priority quick fixes I can stuff in. This will likely include more camera angles for Create a Burb, so you can clearly see all the clothing decks. And next one after that will probably be a camera patch, but that one will take a bit longer. So I'm glad that they're aware of the issues, and it looks like they're actively trying to address
working
them.
on them. Yeah.
So awesome. I love it when I scroll down on a game release and you see like either a roadmap or like a patch list, and they're like, oh hey, we're working on this, guys. We noticed you saw problems. I love that. So Skatebird's going on my wish list because this looks super fun.
Yes, definitely.
Next up, Friday, September 17th, Hisato no Sato.
All the young
Saku.
people all the young people are gone away to fight. Among the elders left in the village, only Hisato is willing to stand guard at the gate. When I first read the description, it reminded me a lot of Papers, Please.
Mm-hmm.
With
You're not the only one who got reminded, yeah.
But looking at it and watching the playthrough and reading more into the description, it's more than just that. Yeah. You are one of the village elders, one of the village heads, and you're getting ready for winter. And there's not enough food. So you need to decide who you're going to let in. And hopefully the people you decide to let into your village help rather than hinder. So this has definitely got a multi-game or a multi-playthrough vibe to it, where you can decide, or not rather you decide, but rather your decisions decide whether or not you survive the winter.
Mm-hmm.
It plays, or at least it looks like the old Game Boy games. Except the green, you've got blues. The pixel leaves some characteristics to be desired. It's a lot of generalization as far as like facial and body features go. And it looks like you get to fight some of the people you decline.
Mm-hmm.
So it again, I get that Pokemon feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
With some of the battle styles to it.
Yeah,
it looks very old school. Old school, definitely. Yeah. It's not that bad. It's not that bad of a price. It's a $5 game. And the reviews seem pretty positive. There aren't many reviews right now, so there's not really a whole lot to score off of. But the people who are reviewing, they've got a few hours in game. It looks like it might be a shorter gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
But we're probably going to need more time to maybe figure out how well the game's going and in what direction people are seeing this.
Yeah. Guys keeps asking if it's a Game Boy ported. Not that I can tell. I don't think it is. I think it's just deliberately made to evoke that style. This is developed by Elder Tree Games, and it's published by Seth Gordon, who I guess is one of the devs, because I looked it up and it was just like, this is the only thing he's done. But yeah, it looks great. I love the sort of premise of it in that, you know, it's wartime, so I'm guessing like Sengoku Jidai era, and like all the young people off to war, and you're like, oh, I've got to make sure the townsfolk, like, you know, can make it through the winter, and it's just like a really, like, it really sets that mood of really dire, like, you're the main decision maker, being the gate guard. So it's very interesting. But yeah, next up we have Aragami 2.
Aragami 2 is a third-person stealth game where you play as an assassin with the power to control the shadows. Join the Shadow Clan and fight the invader army to protect your people. So this is the second game in the series, question mark. They might be more. And it's
from the blazing fire of the enemy.
It's interesting. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Shadows Die Twice.
Oh, Shadows Die Twice, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You get to craft your own things. You can decide on the type of combat you want to play. It looks like you've got co-op. You've got it's cross-platform multiplayer. So it's out on other platforms, and you can play with friends no matter what platform you're playing on. This isn't my type of game. I'm not really interested in it. That being said, it looks like an interesting game, and it looks like it's got some really cool play features to it, and a decent story arc.
The folks I know who've been streaming it, like, they tend to be into the really old school games like Thief and such, and they've been having a blast with this. It has a lot of, the way it's designed does use some of that more old school methodology. So it's kind of like, hey, we're, you like Thief? Oh, let's do that. Except of course in Thief, I think it's more about stealing and less about assassinating.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks very smooth. It's got this kind of neat low poly art style that's a bit more detailed than Aragami 1, but they're still very much capturing that same style. I am kind of curious. So it does, of course, have single player and online co-op. I don't know how. I've not ever heard anyone talk about the story, but I do know people really just like the setting. So, but yeah, that is Aragami 2 by Lince work. It is $34.99 at full price, but right now it's 10% off at $31.49 USD. But yeah, that is Aragami 2. Next up, we have Mandinga, A Tale of Banzo.
Mandinga, A Tale of Banzo is a role-playing game inspired by the JRPG classics, with a unique dice-based battle system full of strategy and challenges. A game with an immersive history based on a deeply important historical moment in Brazil. I grew up with history by video game.
Mm-hmm.
Love history by video game. And anything that people can get their hands on to learn more about history and culture of other places for a better understanding of what's going on, because they don't say which historical event it is based on specifically, but I think there's enough hints that if you were to research it, you could pick it out. And they do say that the event that they based it off of still affects Brazil to this day. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that you can play it in native Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese anyway, or in English. It is single player. It's just, I am a huge fan of anything that keeps our history alive.
Yep. Yeah, it's got some. I love the artwork that's been done. They did previously make another game called Banzo. So this is sort of. I don't think it's a direct sequel because I don't think the characters are the same, but it's related to the similar time period. It's set in the early 1800s in Brazil. This is, I believe, before slavery was abolished in the Empire of Brazil, but I do believe it's during the imperial era.
That's about right.
Yeah. So Banzo is actually a term that it's a term for nostalgia, but it's like the Welsh term hiriath, which doesn't really have a translation, but it's for a term like someone from Wales who left Wales and still feels that strong longing for like all the dead relatives and everything that they left back in Wales. That's what Banzo is, but it's for people who were brought over from Africa. So their feeling of longing to be back in Africa. So that is that is, you know, what the word Banzo means, at least from what I could gather doing my own research. But it's does feature a lot of stuff like capoeira, which is the martial art developed in Brazil. One of the characters is a capoeirista, and the other character is so he's a Yoruba, and the other character is a Muslim guy from Africa. And so they're the two of them with their different belief systems and their different backgrounds are kind of working together towards a common goal, which I feel like they don't want to tell you because it's a spoiler. And so I feel like also if you look up history, you might get spoiled for this game. So I don't know if you want to read up about it or play the game first. So, and of course, I can't vouch for how historically accurate the game is, but it does. I love the art style. It's really evoking a lot of like wall art. If you've seen like murals in Brazil, it does kind of evoke a similar style to those. So yeah. I really like it. So it's super charming. It's a huge leap up artistically from their first game, which looked very crunchy and had minimal animation, whereas this one, the sprites are always moving. So they did a quite more. They've evolved as a studio when it comes to artistic work. So I'm quite interested in this game actually.
Looks to be quite the gameplay. With one of the reviews being 11 hours, 9.6 at the time of the review. So it seems to be a well-based story that you'll probably get at least a couple of days if you play a few hours at a time. And at a price of $7.99, it seems to be a pretty good value.
Yeah, that is the advantage about games that are developed in less economically developed countries, is that generally you are going to get them a lot cheaper, like particularly Eastern Europe, because it just costs less. And I'm really excited to see as the Brazilian and the Eastern European and the Indian and the Southeast Asian game studios continue to get bigger and bigger and develop some more fantastic games. We have some more great games from Indonesia coming up later this year, not too far from now, so I'm looking forward to that. Next up, Tales of... so that is Mandinga by Uruca Game Studio. Alright, next up, Tales of Iron.
Tales of Iron is an epic RPG adventure with punishingly brutal combat. As Reggie, heir to the throne, you must embark on a perilous quest to reclaim your kingdom. Explore a decisively charming world. Assemble a band of brave companions. Banish the merciless Frog Clan.
I've never thought Reginald was a nice name, but like Reggie's such a cute nickname, especially when you're a mouse. Reggie. Oh my word. I love the art style. I'm not too keen on the animation. I've never been the paper puppet animation kind of, never been a huge fan of that. I get why it's a kind of a cheaper animation to go with, and it aesthetically it looks great. I'm just not a fan of that style. But the fact that it's mice and you're fighting like evil amphibians, it's so cool thematically.
Going off of some of the reviews and the game tells itself, I'm getting a big
Clash of Clans?
So bad.
No, not Clash of Clans.
No.
Castle Crashers?
Not really. It more of Dark Souls.
Oh, yeah.
You know, with punishing, you know, if you move wrong, you're going to get punished. You know, if you don't use the right weapon, you're probably going to be punished. You know, but that being said, they seem to lean into it. Especially with, you know, mice and frogs. You know, some of the frogs can really do a number on rodents.
Yeah.
So, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I like this kind of art style. You know, and it's just Yeah, down here in the features it says Master Brutal Combat inspired by the Souls-like genre featuring dodge rolls, parry bashes, and fatal executions. So yeah, they definitely took the Dark Souls difficulty and put it into the game. So if Dark Souls isn't your type of game, you're probably going to have a hard time with this as far as the combat system goes. But I think if you can get past that, you're in for a really fun game.
I love how this thing of like, you know, taking cute anthropomorphic animals and just making it a super gritty, dark game. It's like, oh, it's a little gerbil. Oh no, he was just decapitated. Like, you know, it's just such an interesting, crazy contrast. Like, they could easily have done this with more human characters, like a human and then some like a monstrous race or something. But no,
yeah.
they went mice and toads. Like,
they went cutesy.
They went cutesy, but then used an art style that was kind of like Darkest Dungeon. So, yep. It's love the contrast. But yeah, it's Tales of Iron. Oh, I really want to put this on my wish list, but for some reason I just feel like I'm not going to be good at the game. So, but it looks really great. I'll keep my eye on it. If it ends up in Humble Bundle, I'll definitely pick it up. But yeah, Tales of Iron. Very well positive. It's 10% off right now for $22.49 or at full price $24.99 USD. Next up, TOEM.
Set off on a delightful expedition and use your photographic eye to uncover the mysteries of the magical TOEM in this hand-drawn adventure game. Chat with quirky characters, solve their problems by snapping neat photos, and make your way through a relaxing landscape.
Yeah,
this is a super cute game.
Yeah, super cute, and Rhodey agrees. I was looking at this and I was like, oh, I know the studio. They've made something. No, this is the studio's first game on Steam, but like it reminds me strongly of remember that Bug Tales? No, it's not called Bug Tales, but it's like an RPG.
I know the game you're talking about, but I just drawn a blank today.
Bug Fables. There we go. Yeah.
Bug
Fables,
that's it.
Which I really want to play. I looked at it as like, oh, is this by the developers of Bug Fables? And I was like, oh, no, it's not. Because that was my first thought when I saw it. Because it just the art style, the animation, it really reminded me of them. But no, it's an entirely new studio. So it looks so polished, so pretty. The sort of going for black and white, kind of bold decision, I guess. I feel like this game could have easily been color. So I think it was an interesting choice.
I think the fact that they went black and white was kind of a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because black and white with some of the pictures you're taking, color could be kind of distracting for what you're trying to capture. And looking at this and watching the little trailers and stuff, I am kind of reminded of old Mickey Mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Like Steamboat Willie Mickey.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I can understand why they went, looking at it from that perspective, I can kind of understand why they went black and white. It gives it its own little charm. And I'm okay with that.
I suppose there is a sort of aspect where you're also like playing through it and it is black and white and just my brain is trying to like fill in all the vivid colors. And that's that's engaging in and of itself. Because I feel like this would be really vividly colored if it was. But yeah, it seems a bit like the game from Assemble with Care People. Yeah, it does. It does have a bit of that. So, yeah, Something We Made by is the developer, and yep, their first game. It is very positive with 100%. Oh no, that's like perfect review. So 100% with 86 user reviews, which is not a very common combo that I see. Like you don't usually see reviews go that well. I'm seeing up to 11 hours, but averaging around 4 to 6. But
They did just put out
they
a
did just put
patch
out.
note as well yesterday. They called it the "Help! I Can't Move" hotfix. So it seems that they might have some issues that they are aware of, and they're actively fixing it. And they are also very much encouraging honest reviews. I mean, they've put in caps, all caps. Also, please leave your honest Steam reviews. We want to hear what you have to say or what you think about. And you know, that's yeah. A lot of game devs say they want honest reviews, but to actually put it in writing is another thing.
At this point, like, they're kind of being robbed of an accomplishment where they don't even have one negative review. It's like they've got like 112 positive reviews and 0 negative reviews. So, yeah, they don't have an achievement unlocked at this point. So, but yeah, that is TOEM. It looks great. You can pick it up for 10% off right now at $17.99. It is $19.99 at full price. I don't know how actually long the game is though, but it is very popular right now. So that was our penultimate game. Our final game is Severed Steel.
A stylish single-player FPS featuring a fluid stunt system, destructible voxel environments, loads of bullet time, a unique one-armed protagonist, and a dark electric soundtrack.
I feel like, the like cyberpunk setting and having one arm, it just like goes hand in hand. Like, everyone has a prosthetic arm in cyberpunk. but it does kind of have that Mirror's Edge, like kind of that Mirror's Edge sort of feel to it. Let me see, is there any wall running though?
I kind of.
Oh, okay, there is
Yeah.
definitely some jumping around.
I think the wall running has to do with bullet time.
Yeah, a bit
where
less
it
parkour.
slows down. Yeah. It's it seems to be one of those that it procs off of that, you're jumping on the wall and then time slows, so it seems like you're wall running, but you're really just like jumping onto the wall and then propelling yourself off to get yourself at a different angle to maybe your adversary.
Looks very fast paced. Definitely not a game a game style I'm particularly into, but it seems quite flashy. The glow is a bit intense sometimes. But yeah, it looks like it could be very fun, and 92% of the 264 reviewers agree. It's
got different game modes. It's got single player. You can build your own levels, which a lot of people like to do. So you'd probably build a level and then send it to your friends and, have fun bullying them that way.
Yeah, and it is but yeah, you can purchase it for 10% off right now for $22.49, or full price is $24.99. Yeah, it looks fun. I have to say, it does look fun. So I would definitely chill out and watch someone stream this.
Yeah, definitely.
That is by Greylock Studio, who also produced just Severed Steel so far. Okie doke. So let me see. Now we come to the most important question: is what was the best of the week?
Ooh,
in your humble opinion.
That's kind of hard. There were a few that piqued my interest, and then for me, there was a lot of games that were just, they could have been better, in my opinion. I probably think I have a top 2 just right off the bat, which would have to be Ruins of Albion and where is it? Oh, there it is. TOEM.
TOEM, yep.
TOEM. Those would to probably be my top. TOEM for me is the cutesy art, and it seems like a very relaxing game, and the fact that it's black and white rather than colored adds to that relaxation. Again, I think that if they had gone full colored, it would just be too much, maybe of a visual sensing for what they were trying to go for as far as the mood goes. And Ruins of Albion, it's an amazing game, and the fact that it was a 3-month student project and it looks that polished and it looks that good and the gameplay seems that smooth is just absolutely mind-blowing. And
it's
honestly,
free.
And it's free. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what else they can do in the future. So yeah, that would have to be my top games of the week.
Yeah. With me, Ruins of Albion was definitely going to be on my list as well, so I'll spread the love a bit and say that my second choice was Atom RPG Trudograd. It's just, it seems like a ton of labor went into it, and it just seems like an awesome, like, multi-storyline pathways going on. It's 40 hours for just $10.99. Another one of those long games that I may never finish, but I'll put it on my wish list anyway. You know what? Choosing my number one is really difficult this week, because I mean, Eastward came out. The Gamedec looked really neat. Flynn. Oh, it's so difficult, but I'm going to have to say... Yeah, I'm going to have to say that Eastward, of course, wins out for me. But, man, it's... I was really surprised, because, like, Eastward, I've been like, oh, man, Eastward, yay, cool. But I'm really looking forward to this coming out. And then, you know, this week there's just been so many really interesting games. That I almost didn't. It almost didn't make my top. So yeah, Eastward definitely excited that this is finally out. It's beautiful pixel art, which is always a great way to suck me in. So, and it's got a little bit of that The Last of Us thing, where like you're basically going travel. It's this grizzled old guy just protecting a little girl as they travel across the, post-apocalyptic wastes. So, just a great theme. So,
anything that lets you use a frying pan or a cast iron pan as a weapon is definitely a plus.
Ravenquick is saying Atom RPG and Amazing American Circus was most interested in him. I can definitely see why. And Rhodey saying that escape game looked good. Yep, it did. And of course, she agrees. TOEM looked fantastic. So, just a really awesome list of games this week. So before we go ahead and sign off, Happy Kitty, why don't you let the folks know where they can find you and what you're going to be up to this week?
So you can find me over at twitch.tv/kitty__kitty. You can also follow me on Twitter at kittycat851987. Whenever I go live, it automatically tweets. There is the link. Yep. Thank you for that, Dewey.
I did it incorrectly.
Is it only one? Did you do one? Yeah, nope. Yeah, you did it wrong.
Yep, I did twitched.
But I've started relic weapon grinding. Which I probably shouldn't have.
So you know what? I really like doing that, and when you're out of content, it's quite a fun story to go through, even though it's kind of slower, so it feels like really old school MMO. But yeah, for those who like the grind.
I'll be doing that. There is a game coming out either next week or the week after that I'm getting ready for, that I hope you put on your list. Unmetal is a great game, and I'm looking forward to that one coming out, so I will probably put down Final Fantasy to grind out some of those Fran games, because I really need to finish my playthrough that I was doing of Unepic as well. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, but it looks like for the most part, Final Fantasy is consuming my life.
Oh yeah, Unmetal. That's the it's their kind of spoof on Metal Gear Solid.
It's hilarious.
Great,
I've played the demo and it's wonderful.
Awesome. Alrighty. Well, as for me, you can find me right here at twitch.tv/DeweyBear, and we have a podcast every Sunday, and so we will be. I'm pretty sure I don't have to take a break next week, so I'm pretty sure we're good there. No, come back here. All right, so, but yeah, also be sure to check out our curator page, which I'm about to link right down here. And to the folks watching this on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe, and just to hang out for more shows. Also, I just realized, yeah, I did not get last week's episode uploaded. I gotta get that done. Yep. Anyhow, bye-bye! Have a great day.